I'm Carol Saline, and I'm from Philadelphia. This is my husband, Paul.
So you've been traveling in Iran for some time now, and you still have another day, but can you share a little bit about where in Iran you've been?
Well, we started in Tehran, then we flew to Shiraz, and then we drove to
Persepolis?
Persepolis, which was wonderful, and
Yaz.
Yaz, and
Naim.
Naim, Isfahan, and then to
Kashan.
Kashan, Qom, and now we're back in Tehran.
Well, you've certainly covered a lot of the country, and I know you've traveled a lot throughout the world. Well, if you had to say, what was the biggest surprise about Iran?
Oh, the people, without question.
In what way?
I don't think we have ever been in a country where so many of the natives came up to us, wanted to talk, wanted to ask about where we were from, wanted to tell us about themselves. We even got invited to lunch at the home of a woman we met in a park. I mean, who would have expected that a stranger would have invited our group of 5 people to come to her home? She served us a beautiful lunch. We spent the afternoon exchanging our opinions, our lifestyle, their lifestyle. It was something that has never happened to me in any of our travels.
And most Americans find, when they mention they want to come to Iran, family, friends warn them, give them pushback. Can you describe how your family reacted when you mentioned wanting to come to Iran?
Well, everybody that we talked with, other than people who had been here, said to us, why? Our children were very much against our coming here and really were very vociferous about it. But after talking with you, Jerry, we were very much reassured. And what we found out upon arriving here was that all of the fears that the people that we had talked with had were absolutely false. At no time did we feel unsafe. In fact, to the contrary. As Carol said, I've never been in a country that was more warm and welcoming than Iran. We were stopped at least, without exaggeration, 10 times a day by people who wanted to talk with us. And every person, in addition to those that we passed, would say, hello, where are you from? Welcome to Iran. Have a wonderful, wonderful visit with us. We love America.
If I had to choose one word to describe the people here, it would be hospitable and warm.
And why do you think we have such a different impression in Iran? Why do you think your kids and other people's kids and friends are so discouraging and so concerned about safety, and you now find it's very different? Why do you think this is?
Our knowledge of Iran is based upon newspaper headlines. It's not based upon what's actually happening among the people who live here.
There's also a big difference between people and governments. And basically what we know about Iran is the hard line of the government. But when we got here, we didn't see any anti-American signs. We never felt anti-American sentiment, in fact, just the opposite. So I think that you have to understand that the people of a country can be very different from their leaders. And that's what we found here in Iran. The people were wonderful, and they themselves have issues with some of their government regulations.
And before the trip, you brought up one other question about when you were expressing concern about safety. You also you mentioned that you're Jewish. Is this going to be an issue traveling? Can you share with us anything that came about being Jewish, whether it was an issue? Did it play into your trip at all?
Well, no, I thought it was very interesting when we went to the family for lunch. They asked us what we were, and when we told them that we were Jewish, they were quite surprised. And then it just passed. In fact, we went to a synagogue, and it was Hanukkah. They lit the Hanukkah candles, which was very comforting to see, and the people we spoke to there said that as Jews they didn't suffer any more discrimination than anybody would anyplace else.
And I think that the family that we had lunch with, one of the family members raised himself. The question to us wasn't the American government controlled by Jews and Zionists. And when we explained to him that it wasn't, and I think it gave us an opportunity to correct his misinformation and misimpression, which essentially comes from the government propaganda related to Israel. But you know, we had absolutely no sense, and from the Jews that we talked to at the synagogue, they had no sense of being discriminated against in any active sense, any more than any other place in the world.
I mean, I think that if anything, this country is just full of surprises. It's everything we hoped it would be and nothing we thought it would be.
Well, that's a pretty good summary. You certainly seem like you've been turned into ambassadors in support of the people in Iran and the warmth of it, and hopefully you can help deliver that message to so many Americans who remain very misunderstanding. And we thank you for being here, and hopefully you can take that role of citizen diplomacy and share your feelings with others. And thank you for taking the time to do this.
Well, we look forward
and
to
thanks
that.
for the trip, Jerry.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
It was wonderful. Wonderful in every